Hello there UK business owners, Chris Worden here from Director First. Today we have got a jam-packed episode covering some of the biggest stories shaking up the UK business world. From carpet rights administration woes to Dyson's massive job cuts, Superdry's delisted from the stock exchange, and Cheshire East Council are skint and on the verge of bankruptcy. This video has it all, so grab a coffee, silence your phone and let's dive into the latest business news that you may need to know. Okay, first up, let's talk about Carpet Right. Okay, we know the retailer sells carpets, the name's in the title. 1,800 jobs are at risk as this carpet and flooring giant is set to enter administration, okay? Carpet Right has got 24 sites across Scotland and 271 sites across the UK, and they filed something called a notice to appoint administrators. So experts from PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, big firm, they're stepping in to try and find some emergency funding or a rescue buyer for the troubled business. Now, Carpet Right are owned by something called Nestware Holdings, and they have been hit harder specifically by weaker demand for carpets as homeowners sort of shift towards hard flooring or the putting off, major expenses right now. Add to that, there has been a major cyber attack to that business in April of this year that halted trading. You've got an absolute recipe for disaster. So the CEO of this firm, Nestware Holdings, is a guy called Kevin Barrett. He's come out and he's fairly optimistic, and he said, "We remain focused on securing external investment to ensure as few customers and colleagues are as impacted as possible. We have begun promising conversations with interested parties that are moving in the right direction, encouraging us that Carpet Right has a valuable future. Let's hope those conversations bear some fruit." But let's dig into what admin is. So you'll notice, right, if a business becomes insolvent, one of the things that a business can do is go into administration, and the start of that process is filing something called a notice of intention to appoint. They file it at court, and when it's filed, the business has this wall of protection. It's like a moratorium for a couple of weeks when nobody can take action. And while this business is in a moratorium, what they're doing there, they're talking about getting some additional funding into this business. But I'm going to keep my eyes on this, because I suspect what will happen with this business is, while they're actually looking at securing some funding, they'll also be looking for some buyers for this business. And it wouldn't be unlikely for the same owners of Carpet Right to set up another trading business and offer to buy that business from the administrators. It's called a pre-pack administration. It's perfectly legal. There will be an agent's report on the valuation of this business, and big firms use these processes to sometimes cut down the amount of sites, because they've got hundreds and hundreds of sites. Some of them may no longer be viable anymore, and what they do is they offer to buy the business and take on the sites that they think are going to be profitable. It's not been concluded yet, but if you keep watching for my updates, I will give you an update as and when that happens. Now let's shift gears and let's talk about Dyson. We've all had a Dyson over the years. The vacuum cleaner and the air filter is cutting about 1,000 jobs in the UK as part of a global cost-cutting drive. This move is going to reduce Dyson's British workforce by more than a quarter. So we all know Dyson, innovative products, the bagless vacuum cleaner. My missus, actually, I'll tell you a funny story. When our first daughter was born, right, people buy presents for their missuses when they come out. I bought my missus a Dyson, and she was over the moon with it. I swear to God, we brought the baby back from the hospital, and she saw the Dyson, and she nearly burst into tears. Tears of joy, I might add as well, right? But It basically had 3,500 UK employees, and it's going to cut jobs, and the decisions come amid a sort of broader effort to streamline the operations and stay competitive. Now, the main guy of Dyson, the CEO, is a guy called Hanno Keimer, I think I pronounced that right, and he's come out and said, we've grown quickly, and like all companies, they're trying to review the global structures from time to time to ensure they're prepared for the future. Cutting jobs is always incredibly painful, but we promise to support those affected. It's a tough but necessarily move to stay agile. What does that actually mean? Okay, it says there, we're cutting jobs to prepare for the future. So what he's saying there is the future's not looking great. We've got to try and shed some staff to preserve funds. We're seeing this all across the globe now. I don't care what the newspapers reporting, what the politicians reporting. It's very, very bleak out there. Sales are going down, costs are increasing, big firms are making sweeping redundancies. It says in there that he's promised to support those affected. So just so you know, if redundancies are made, your employees are entitled to claim redundancy. If you end up in some type of insolvency process, your company, it's highly likely, won't be able to afford to pay the redundancy for your staff, whether you're a big firm or a small firm. But the government will step in and pay your staff statutory redundancy, notice pay, arrears of pay and holiday pro rata. Please be aware the redundancy is capped at about £658 per week. But that's the story of Dyson. Now on to Superdry. I don't know if anybody's had a Superdry jacket. I haven't personally, but I remember them in the playground. But it's a fashion retailer, and it's going to delist from the London Stock Exchange on Monday. And that will be Monday, bear with me just so I can keep it current. I think that's going to be Monday, the 22nd of July. So this comes after receiving approval from creditors, shareholders and the court for its turnaround programme. Obviously, Superdry's problems have been very, very publicly aired. They are struggling right now. The last day of trading on the main market is going to be, I think it was sometime this week actually. And from Monday, the company shares will be admitting to the trading of something called JP Jenkins Security. Okay, this platform enables shareholders and prospective investors to buy and sell shares on a matched bargain basis. Now, the chairman of Superdry is a guy called Peter Scholander. Sorry about the pronunciation there, it looks like a Scandinavian name. But he's come out and he said this is a crucial step towards delivering the restructuring of the business and ensuring that Superdry is the best possible shape to complete its recovery and return to growth. The company had planned a £10 million equity raise underwritten by founder Julian Dunkerton and rent reductions across 36 stores. So again, it's telling there, people are using these type of processes to reduce commitments, get rid of unsecured debt, or in the case of Superdry, get rid of some stores that are causing them problems. And finally, let's have a chat about Cheshire East Council. It is facing what we would class as effective bankruptcy. It can't afford to trade. Its debts are more than it's got unless it acts too soon. There's been an external review and it's highlighted low reserves, okay? Historical overspending and challenging saving targets. The council is working on an action plan to address these issues, hopefully, to avoid something called a Section 114 notice, which would severely restrict its spending. We've seen that with other councils in the UK recently. Now, the report found that in the year 22 to 23, the council used 11 million quid of its reserves to set a balanced budget, with 20 million needed to be saved in 24-25. Even if these savings are delivered, the council will be left with only £2.1 million in reserve by the end of the financial year. Frightening stuff. The council staff have been praised for their commitment despite the instability and capacity challenges, and a Cheshire East spokesman said the findings very much reflect the council's own concerns about financial sustainability, growth in demand, adequacy of funding, and our plans to address those pressures. An action plan is due to be published in August. I mean, come on. honestly, no wonder the country is on its arse right now. I always, who's running these councils? Who's running these government departments? Like, I feel that us business owners take things a little bit more seriously. It really is our money that we're spending. I mean, my local town, I'm going to come out and say it's had millions of pounds ploughed into the high street. And you look at the high street, I was in a local shop the other day, and they've had work done, and it's £5,000 worth of work. The contractor billed 25 grand. Where are the controls? It's listen, I'm going to get off my soapbox. It's not about that today. So what are the takeaways from business owners from these stories? Because that's what I want to try and do, is make these big stories that are in the headlines relative to you. First of all, stay agile. Dyson continually review and adapt the business structure to stay competitive. You've got to look for new models, new angles for generating revenue. Another one, secure funding. Funding is really important for most businesses. Be careful if you're going to be taking funding that's going to cause you to sign a personal guarantee, because that can and will bite you on the arse if the business fails. Another thing is look at restructuring potentially, but do it wisely, okay? Don't rush into a restructuring plan. You've got to look at all options, understand your end game and what can be done to help you get there. And crucially, manage businesses' finances, okay? The council's situation highlights the importance of sustainability and planning. So I hope you found this video useful. The stories show the importance of staying informed and proactive in managing your business. If you want any advice on your business, give us a call. Chris Worden, Director First. Thanks for your time and God bless.